Well, you know me well enough, actually. I spent 3 weeks picking up my old boxing gloves, which haven't seen the light of day since my army days. And I was going to come prancing onto the stage, you know, giving me a bit of this and that, and impressing my friend Winston Mackenzie. But in the light of what we've seen the last week, of course, things have become a little bit more serious. It's been driven home to us a little bit harder. And I just wanted to share a few thoughts with you today. I'm sure most of you would agree with me that we have the best police force in the world. I'm also sure that you would agree, perhaps 30 years ago, we had the finest police in the world by a country mile. Do you though share my unease that although still out in front, it's now perhaps only by a short head? Whose fault is that our police have slipped back? Of course, it's the fault of the politicians. For year after year, we've seen the degradation of law and order by a chain of Home Office ministers remarkable for their ineptitude. They presided over a civil service content to manage decline, a civil service with political connivance that accept rising crime as inevitable. Political administrations of every view, the Conservatives as bad as any, which is dominated by political correctness. Indeed, I would suggest to paraphrase the Macpherson report, the Home Office is institutionally politically correct. As we all know here, political correctness is the cancer in every government policy, but none more than crime and crime fighting. Too many chief constables over the years have been asked how many cultural or social minorities they have recruited and promoted. Not, as they should have been, how many collars they have. Obsession with box ticking, as in education, led to a complete mismatch of resources, which of course will always be limited. This, together with a sentencing policy drafted by a committee of the retarded, means persistent and violent criminals are released, but halfway through they're already lenient sentences. The London riots appalled the world, but more appalling still was the knowledge that half the offenders, some of them had really bad form, many on bail or recently released for serious offences. This has to end. I make a public plea to Chris Grayling. Prison does work. Letting habitual criminals, rapists and violent offenders out does not. Our police spend too much time rounding up serial offenders to do their job of crime prevention, which of course was the whole theory of the police force when Sir Robert Peel introduced it. Crime prevention. Resources which could go to first-time offenders are squandered. Prison is not a place for social misfits, which take up cells for the truly bad guys. A serious sentencing policy will keep crime off the streets and deter criminals from repeat offences, knowing they will not see the light of day again. The remit and authority of a police and crime commissioner are still vague, and I suspect they will remain vague for some time to come. But if elected, I expect the usual suspects to try and thwart me at every turn. However, I think there are some changes I can make early in my term. Crime statistics. I don't believe many of them. Often what is a crime in law goes down as an incident, so often therefore not recorded as a crime. This will stop if I'm elected to answer. Police training. I will conduct a thorough review of training. What must be done? What would be nice to do? What is a complete waste of time and financial resources? I will investigate so-called partnerships. What are good and what are bad? I will encourage discretion amongst frontline police officers. In fact, I don't know whether you've spotted the Sun today, where the disgraceful Mitchell was abusing the police in Downing Street. Quite extraordinary if you haven't read the story. I would certainly like to extend my discretion to the police force dealing with this particular individual and bring in debagging, I think. motorists are not public enemy number one. Their harassment is counterproductive. We have a crazy situation now for years and years. 99% of most Middle England's interaction with the police is on motoring. And this creates a hostility. This creates the feeling that the policeman is no longer your friend. And this is something I want to deal with. It does enormous harm. I want to foster an attitude where constructive criticism by Middle England taxpayers is not met with defensive resentment or even hostility. I want to review procurement. I have never believed that this cannot be a major tax pound saver. Beware the BMW X5s and welcome the new Hyundais. Got a certain amount of publicity, hate crime. Let me just make a comment or two about my views on hate crime. Let me say just this, that anybody in Humberside, if I'm elected, will feel the full protection of my police force. I care not whether you are yellow, brown, green, ginger, black. It makes no difference whatsoever to me. My police force will come to your aid if you are bullied, you're harassed, or you're suffering any form of violence whatsoever. You will not go to the top of the queue because you claim some special political gain or you belong to some lobby group. Everybody will be treated the same. And indeed that is in line with my oath, and if you read the Police Commissioner's oath, it would be illegal for me to do anything else. If the Crown Prosecution Service or the largely misnamed Department of Justice wants to sit around making different statistics, they can do that. But that is not the job of the police. That is not the job of the police. The job of the police is to bang up the bad guys. Also, do not come knocking at my door, Mr. Camera salesman, with the latest in speed detection devices. I spent 30 years in investment banking, and I know how to manipulate statistics. I want you to know that I know, and it won't wash with me. And I intend to publish a small memoir to show ordinary people not trained in the interpretation of statistics how they do it. So none of my police budget, I'm afraid, is going to go on that. Cameras are for black spots in schools, and that's it. They are not there to trawl money into the local council. Let me make another pledge. If any of my police arrest a householder protecting his family in the middle of the night from intruders, if they arrest him, you will be on disciplinary procedure. Commission needs serious commercial experience. This is a very largely budget-driven role. And I'm astounded that Lord Prescott feels he should come forward from having been the Deputy Prime Minister in an administration which is the most fiscally incompetent in the history of the United Kingdom. Humberside, I'm very fortunate to say, is a well-run police force, and it has a balanced budget. I wonder how long it would take Prescott to make nonsense of that. I also think it's not a bad thing to have experience of uniformed service. I know the culture of the police and the army are different things, but I think empathy for people, men and women in uniform, actually works in between the services and the police. I think it's a useful piece of experience to have. So I have commercial experience, a little bit of undistinguished military experience, and I know how to balance budgets, and a little bit of political experience. The only thing I don't have, of course, is any policing experience, other than, of course, getting hit occasionally. On Boatface night. Steve pointed out. But I don't have policing experience, but I know a man who does. And I'm absolutely thrilled to have Mike Steepman, come up Mike if you will. I actually believe we're offering a management team in Humberside with more experience than any other in the entire country from any political party. Mike, have a little bit.